Hello, everyone. My name is Andrew, and I'll be your host for today's webinar. Welcome to Innovations and Best Practices with Future-Proofing Industrial Networks. Joining us today is Moxa's Senior Product Marketing Manager for Networking and Cybersecurity, Philippe Costa. Philippe is a Cybersecurity Director and a Certified Official Instructor in Industrial Cybersecurity by ISA and EC Council. He holds more than 30 certifications and a Master of Science in the area. With about 20 years of experience in the industrial sector, he specializes in developing mission-critical solutions with cybersecurity at the forefront. Felipe has presented and published articles globally, including at the NASA Artificial Intelligence Congress. So just some housekeeping items before we jump into our presentation here. The webinar is 60 minutes long, and that includes time for questions at the end. If you would like to submit questions, please use the Q&A function. You will also see the occasional poll question pop up on your screen, and we encourage you to participate in those if you are willing to. The webinar will be recorded and shared, so you can go back and watch the webinar on demand at your convenience. And lastly, there will be a survey after the webinar. We greatly appreciate any of your feedback on this presentation. So with that in mind, I'll pass it off to Philippe to kick off our webinar. Take it away, Philippe.
Hello, guys. Great pleasure to be here today with all of you. So let's kick it off with this webinar. So basically, the way that I designed this webinar, it will be two major parts. The first part will be more educational. I would like to go over a couple of emerging technologies, basically highlight what they are and a couple of impacts that we may have deploying this emerging technologies on the networking. The last part will be more practical, so I will give some tips, and eventually you'll be able to learn a couple of good practices around a lot of these emerging technologies. So we'll talk about cybersecurity, some knowledge around artificial intelligence, IIoT, and all of that. So with that in mind, stay with me, and let's basically kick it off the presentation. So before really go over the presentation itself, I'd like that makes sense. We basically go over what is Moxa and why we are presenting about these technologies, right? So really quickly, basically we are global leaders in serial connectivity. We are top three basically in networking. So this is really a significant market share we have globally. And we are basically in 50 countries, 55 countries, and more than 94 million equipments communicating. So by now we have roughly 100 million equipments sending, transforming, and securing data around the globe. So definitely our core business are mission critical applications. So basically every application that cannot stop and definitely are under industrial umbrella. This is where we bright. So definitely, this is the mindset that will be around the presentation, industrial critical applications. So all the recommendations and the conversation that we will have is considering this mindset, okay? So let's start first with more alignment. So all the audience that is joining us today can have the same basic knowledge to move forward with the second part of the presentation. So as you can imagine, 60 minutes to go over as many topics that we're going to go. Definitely, I will be a kind of superficial, but hopefully you give enough information to understand the second part that will be more practical. So the first thing that I would like really bring here for consideration is we have been receiving overwhelming type of news around these topics that we're gonna go over today. So hopefully it's not a surprise for any of you how important it is, the cybersecurity topic, and basically how the systems are interconnected. I will not go over the specifics of the merger case that happened a few days ago, but definitely it's a real proof and how the system, they rely on each other, and how security in general, it's important, right? And how you were approaching and basically how you were managing this topic inside your company. Outside that, definitely artificial intelligence, a lot of people talking about it, but definitely I would like to bring a more realistic, really real applications about artificial intelligence, but definitely no question about it. Artificial intelligence is a huge trend, real to reality, I would say. And if you're not using that, definitely you're missing a very important strategic technology to push and develop your business. I would say I have been talking with different experts in different countries, and definitely a lot of them, and I definitely leaning towards that direction as well, saying pretty much artificial intelligence nowadays, it is basically what happened with the internet at 90s, right? Basically, all the companies that in that time said, hey, I don't feel that it's going to be really something, maybe they are out of the business already, right? So basically, I would like to bring this conversation around artificial intelligence as well, and definitely how we can use in different examples around industrial applications. With that, right, ground, basically we can summarize the structure of the technology approach that we're going to have in three different ways. We will need discuss and we approach some connectivity initiatives that allow us to get basically send and receive data to basically allow us to process this data. That is what artificial intelligence does in general, right? So in order to have a good result, a good performance of your machine learning or whatever you're using, you need to have a good data behind. So definitely it's another block. So first we need to have connectivity. After you have you need to have a good understanding what you're trying to do and select the best AI agent, basically. And the last part is what you're going to have the consequence of these disruptive technologies, right? A lot of that is going to be translated basically in new legal requirements, regulations. Definitely, we have been seeing around cybersecurity a lot of basically countries setting like across the globe different regulations trying to regulate that specific topic. Here in US, basically, it's more complex environment, but it's still a lot of things going that direction as well. So definitely the consequence, and we need to consider in our strategy basically how the regulatory and the legal and basically also the investments we're going to do with all these technologies around. So trying to make the balance between basically the technical aspect and also the business side of these decisions. All right, so which technologies we will briefly talk today? IIoT, IIoT convergence, AI, edge computing versus cloud computing, and TSN. So to kick off the conversation, I'd like to make a pull question right now to the audience, based on these technologies that we are going to talk today. Which ones actually you were involved with? So basically, I can understand the audience where you are basically working and eventually try to anticipate some challenge, right? Nice, thank you. I'm seeing a lot of people answering around IIoT. Basically, I will define this terminology as well, right? But basically, any type of connectivity, you'd be basically IoT or IIoT convergence initiative, right? All right, I will give a couple of extra seconds so all of you can have the chance to answer. We are almost there. 7% of the people answered, but definitely I already can anticipate some results. The major part of the audience is developing projects around IoT, IoT convergence, and edge computing or cloud computing, cybersecurity as well, very good chunk. All right, I believe you're good. So let's share the results with all of you. Hopefully you're seeing the results here, but definitely major part is definitely developing projects around edge computing, cybersecurity, and IoT. Most of you guys maybe are dealing with different projects in these areas at the same time. So definitely good. Thank you for sharing. Absolutely, all these topics are pretty much relevant, right, in the industrial space. So let's move forward on this educational part. The first one that I would like to just define a little bit so we are on the same page what I mean with IIoT, for example. Basically, IIoT is any connection that allows us to send data from the edge, for example, or closer to the application to the management without really respecting the hierarchy of the communication that I will define in a few minutes. So basically, we want to enhance the performance, predictive maintenance, and many other benefits around that. And the impact that when we start to basically communicate from everywhere and send information out, you start to make it really complex, the traffic, right? So we need to have a better understanding about networking, how you are segmenting your network, how you are prioritizing the data, and absolutely cybersecurity. So if you open a door to communicate, absolutely this part can be used on the other way around and be hacked, right? So definitely we need to understand how we are doing that, and basically if you are doing on the best way, in secure way as possible. So if we can define, this is the automation Purdue model as known as ISA 95, and even traditional parameter of automation, right? So as you can see, we have basic layers where we expect that the data, flows from the edge to the management. So ideally, what happened in the past 50 years, basically the information was expecting this flow coming from the level 0 to the level 4. Basically, IoT, it's a very disruptive way to change that way that we transmit data. So basically now from any part of the network, you can be sending data out to a cloud or even on-premise server. So basically, the best way to summarize is you don't need necessarily to respect all this data flow that we used to use in the past years. Definitely, it allows us a lot of significant enhancements, like you saw, a lot of speed, performance, but also we need to be sure how we are doing that to make sure we are not opening vulnerabilities or insecurity, how we call amplifying the attack surface in a way that can be bad to your network security. So the other thing that you also basically define here is IIoT. And by the way, IT is information technology, the acronym for that. OT is operational technology, but in broad words, you can say OT is more like automation, process data, and IT is more cooperative business and data centers, in general speaking, right? So basically, when we say IT-OT convergence, in the simple words, basically we're saying, hey, I'm allowing information flows between these two words. Usually, automation was isolated, and now it is basically connected. So I'm sending and allowing the information goes from the edge, from the automation world to the business side in a way really transparent, and a way that the business can also make better decisions. So like anything else in our lives, we have a good side of that, and the downside, absolutely. Again, I'm allowing and opening doors for communication. So in the security perspective, I also need to make sure how I'm doing these rules and how I'm providing this path between these two worlds. Yeah, absolutely. One of the things that we're gonna go over about and practical ways to really help you guys on these developments. You should be using any type of framework. It's really risky try to develop by ourselves because there are many variables, and usually a broad audience like the standards committee, they brainstorm, they try to stress each topic. I'm part of many standard committee, including 6443. So I know that is really, really hard work that the guys try to put together and stress every different angle. So the first recommendation, and here include that good news, we are almost ready with one of the new standards of 643. Don't worry, I will talk more about what is this standard, but basically we're going to have a specific standard that will give some recommendations how to deploy IIoT, and why not say ITOT convergence in general, right? So just some heads up around that. All right. Hope I'm not going too fast, but like I said, we need to go in different topics and also talk about practical side. So I'm just highlighting some important information around these initiatives. Artificial intelligence. So we made a survey to our customers, and pretty much we asked, hey, you're using AI if you are basically what we're doing with that. So as you can see, I'm giving here some ideas of these results. So a lot of people doing predictive maintenance, quality control, supply chain optimization, energy management, just to mention some, right? So definitely AI, like I said, it's very disruptive. So you can do a lot of things with that technology. I will define in a minute. So definitely, this is just some examples that we can use AI. But in order to really provide the platform to run AI, you need basically a processor, computing platform. And also part of that conversation is we will do that processing at the edge, on the edge, by the way, or we're going to do on the cloud, or we're going to do basically a mixed approach. We do part of that on the edge and part of cloud. So we definitely have a lot of conversations to define the best topology and architecture and how you process it. But no question, to really perform the best and take all the advantages that we are discussing around AI, we definitely need a platform computer to run that. And definitely understanding where each type of technology writes, it's definitely important. So keep in mind, here's just a summary where we recommend to use these technologies, right? And basically the benefits, right? Good. One thing that I like every time that I present for whereas we have a lot of people here that maybe is not that technical, so definitely I would like to just give you guys some background around artificial intelligence. Artificial intelligence, it's a huge field study. Definitely you have a lot of areas that basically comprehends artificial intelligence. So we are talking here about computing, mathematics, statistics, neuroscience, philosophy, and linguistics, robotics, and I just put some here. And just keep in mind, even we try to mimic basically how our brain works and try to make it in a mathematical way, right? So definitely it's much broader than we usually think with the mathematic, for example, itself. But definitely no question, major part, and what I will share with you guys here today, it's around these highlighted areas, basically mathematics, statistics, and computing, right? But again, I just want to make sure that you have this big picture that AI is more than just that. When we talk more specifically about applications, now you need to understand some other keywords. Machine learning is one of them. Machine learning is a subset of the artificial intelligence. So, and we go inside the box of machine learning, you have a couple of technologies or algorithms that we may use. Unsupervised, supervised, reinforced. So this is the technical aspect. So every time that we are talking artificial intelligence, somebody is thinking, okay, which data I have, and based on this data and what I'm trying to achieve, which going to be the best algorithm, right? And inside these definitions, we have many options. So it's definitely really another word when we start to debate and go over all these aspects. So I'm trying to summarize it and keep it high level, right? And when we talk about deep learning, it's a subset of machine learning. So as long as you have more data and you want to have more precise data, and try to do more complex tasks. Deep learning is, let's say, an evolution, although they are kind of old in theory, but definitely the application itself in the computing, as we evolved on the computing capacity, definitely allowed us to have more complex and processing. And basically, now we can use deep learning because we have the platform ready for that. So basically, to try to simplify, this is a chart that I created a couple of years ago, trying to set the ground where we can apply machine learning and deep learning in different, let's say, technical congress. But my takeaway and is shared high level where each of these type of technologies or algorithms they have the best application. So one thing, if you really start to go after the technical aspects, you see that it's really hard. See numbers, thresholds. Looks like the literature, although we have a lot of things wrote about it, it's really hard to find numbers because we have many variables around. So I did here just to give you guys an idea what I'm talking about when it's a lot of data, not a lot of data. So what does it mean, right? So basically here are some parameters that can help you have this better idea around, but the highlight is basically we have a breakpoint. So machine learning is really a light. I'm going to move for the next slide, but as you can see, machine learning, you'll be less dependent on data. Don't get me wrong, all the AI rely on data. My point is, if you don't have a lot of data, and a lot is basically these thresholds that I'm giving you here, ballpark, what I'm talking about, most likely you have better results with machine learning. So basically, it's a lighter type of algorithm you can run in a light platform and can be close to the application sometimes because the timing and all of that around will allow you use more close to the application. Deep learning is more heavily demanding on platform, so heat dissipation, all of that comes in place. So most what you see is when you have a centralized topology, looks like deep learning is more suitable for that. So basically, there is no one single solution that will fits all, as all of us know. But basically, we have this high-level understanding where I can play with machine learning and where I can play with deep learning, and the high-level capabilities allow me to make better decisions, because now I'm not thinking that it's just one technology better than other, because it's not the case. Depends on what you have and what we are trying to ship, because maybe machine learning will be much better based on your profile in your data than the deep learning, although deep learning is more sophisticated. All right. So this is the most important thing that I'd like you to take from this presentation around artificial intelligence. One of the last technologies, basically TSN, that is a new concept of transmission data, basically. As you can see, we have a lot of technologies on the market for transmission protocols, right? And it's quite complex. We try to provide a visibility, or better saying, forecasts when the information will arrive in the destination. So we basically, this is the concept of Ethernet, TCP/IP, right? It's non-deterministic. That means that we cannot be sure when information that I'm sending right now is gonna reach the destination. And we are doing several things in the past years to try to work around that, but the fact is we cannot predict. So in order to really give the prediction, and this is basically the scenario that I just described, we have different language and really hard to predict and try to have a deterministic, this is the keyword for TSN. Basically, we design, when you say we, the community design IEEE, a new protocol that you can really predict, based on time synchronization and scheduling, basically. So each device, you're going to have a specific time to transmit data. So with that, I can predict when a specific information will reach the destination. So with that concept in mind, basically the idea of TCN will be a future platform for transmit data. So performance, flexibility, reliability, and security, all in one single protocol. Try to unify the scenario that we have in our days, where basically each device speaks its own language. So it's really hard. We need a lot of gateways. So the future, the idea is definitely you have this consolidation, and TCN, it's definitely a solid technology to provide that. Last but not the least, cybersecurity. One thing that you should have in mind, if you already attended one of my presentations, probably you already saw this slide. I really like because definitely gives the big picture in a very complex topic, right? That is cybersecurity. That is not a project, it's not a product, and it's not even a standard. It's a journey, right? It's all of those combined, and how you have a strategy to support that. So hopefully this big picture give you a sense that how you treat, how you manage this topic is extremely important. So you should not see cybersecurity as just, like I said, product or even a project itself. It's a journey. So during this journey, you have a different challenge, going from the device definition, monitoring, manage, and all of that. Basically, you need to have all this mindset to support your future journey, right? So absolutely, as Moxa, we will have basically different technologies for you during this journey, and the experts and our team understand this big picture, right? With that in mind, basically a summary from what we saw so far. We have here basically the challenge, right, of implementing, deploying emerging technology. You need to understand about regulatory compliance, data security, interpretability, costs, change management, and definitely there are different skill gaps because all these are major technologies demand different knowledge around that. So with that, this is a big picture about the challenge and the technology itself that we try to basically summarize in a few slides what they plan to be. Now we're going to move for the more, let's say, practical side. Basically, when we ask our customers, right, you are using artificial intelligence and these other technologies, but now looking for the future, what we're trying to do, what will be our next step. So basically, we have a lot of people really investing around predictive maintenance, digital twins. This is this technology which did not approach today, but definitely it's another way to do significant improvements in our the way that we manufacture and anticipate ways to enhance our performance. But absolutely, cybersecurity and connectivity are also one of the topics that we have been receiving from our customers. So now the time for the second pool question, based on the future, what you are seeing as a next step for a company in terms of where do we plan to invest and what are the future challenges are you envisioning, right? So we are seeing here a couple of answers around. A lot of people still investing in IoT, OT convergence. A couple of people in IIoT, and absolutely makes sense because definitely these connectivity initiatives like IoT, IT, OT convergence are definitely enabling the data be transmitted from one part of the network, from the edge of the network to the management to allow performance and other enhancements. So absolutely makes sense. Thanks for your answers. I will share, I will give you guys just the last 2 seconds so we can close the pool question. I believe we're good. Thanks. So definitely, as you can see, majority working initiatives that are allowing basically the transmission of the data. So IIoT and IIoT conversion, basically enabling data transmission. A lot of edge computing. So we are seeing companies working on creating the platform to enable AI, right? And reasonable part of the participants also work in cybersecurity. That also makes sense. Thank you, guys. I appreciate that. So moving forward for the second part of our presentation, hopefully the first part we define not new information, but just the baseline to make sure we are on the same page about some definitions and terminologies. And then now we move to basically the best way, at least in my opinion as professional, to deploy a couple of them, right? You may be doing something different, that's totally fine. And I'll be more than glad to learn as well with you guys if you have a different approach, different recommendation from the ones that I'm sharing here. So starting from the network design, starting from mission critical applications and with the industrial mindset, absolutely the first thing that we have in mind is redundancy. So if you are deploying communication, a system that is basically transmitting data, are you deploying redundant technology? In other words, if one link goes down, what happens with a network? You have another path. How long are you going to take to transmit, to convert, to the network convert? So all of that should be in your mind, right? So basically, this is the first consideration. You should be using different protocols. We have different types. I will make a comparison, but in general, we can separate them in two parts. The first one is proprietary technology, because, for example, ours from Moxa, we manage basically the information that we transmit, the frames basically, so we can fastly recognize some change and basically make faster decisions. So this is one of the advantages to use basically proprietary information, because you can manage all the information in a very particular way. We do have for basically the backbone, and we also have another protocol to manage the edge connectivity. So anyway, it's basically important step to consider redundancy technology. I mentioned that we have two types. The other type is the open standard, probably one of the most common types of redundancy protocol we've already heard is RSTP, or Rapid Span Tree. And basically, it's an open standard we are also compatible with, and our protocols usually work pretty well, combine those. But basically, you are limited in the time response. So some applications are okay with that, and some other applications are not. You need fast recovery time. Most likely, you need proprietary or a faster ring looping free or with convergence protocol. Right. So here, just to give you guys an idea about the timing recovery and also the size limit. This is also an important stat. So keep in mind in your consideration, we are designing your network. The other thing is I'm traveling across the US, and I have every day a different conversation on security and network. Basically, you have different range of customers in different phase of the, let's say, the first slide that I present about cybersecurity, right? Some of customers are around managed switches. So if you are in that part, I would recommend you move forward to what we call light managed or smart switches. It will bring you important features to manage, not as complex as more, let's say, advanced switches, but you give a reasonable number of management and security. So it's a good start if you're using unmanaged. And if you're using already managed switches, definitely you have more advanced features. So we definitely can increase these barrier, internal barrier in terms of defense perspective, or more advanced features, more visibility. You basically breaking down these keywords in a few minutes. So definitely we understand that not all the customers, they can move for one point to the another for overnight, but definitely we have a couple of options to support your journey and give you the exactly next step to support you on the basically on your strategy. One key aspect, visibility. I believe 3-4 years ago, it was the big boom around visibility, right? A lot of new tools on the market. So definitely visibility is key. You just can protect what you see. You can make better decisions around data consumption, basically your behavior of your network. All this information that's crucial, you just can have this if you have visibility. So we do have in our portfolio different tools that help you in this journey to increase this visibility and allow you basically plan basically your extension and eventually check for bottlenecks of networking. And absolutely on the security part, I will emphasize more in a few minutes. Absolutely have visibility about threats are extremely important, right? So definitely visibility. If you are not considering visibility in your strategy, definitely you are missing a very important aspect. You should be talking and discussing around this and how you can improve the visibility of your network. Moving specifically in some tips around cybersecurity. The first one, like I said, I already gave some heads up, right? You should be using a framework, a standard, because definitely the standard, it was like explained, discussed, debated with a lot of professionals. As you can see, one of the key differentiation for Moxa, as we do 100% with industrial applications only, we have professionals specialized in different areas. And definitely we have the way to exchange information, basically about good practices around oil and gas, power, energy, right? And even cross-industry applications. I'm one of the experts of the company. I'm the expert in 62443. Like Andrew introduced it, I'm official instructor from ISA. So definitely, I definitely can help more in that regard. But definitely, we can see many other standards. And the idea is, as a company, we have this different knowledge and we can compare. And the result, basically, as you can see, we can see a lot of overlaps among the standards. And as company, we use 6443. I can give a webinar maybe 3 hours long just talking about 6443, but trying to make it in one paragraph. 6443 is one of the standards being used across the globe for OT, for automation specifically. And basically one of the key differentiation is this standard is developed for end users, system integrators, and manufacturers like Moxa, that we can have a common and the same language around security. So probably if you had tried to have conversations around cybersecurity with other people, we will realize quickly that if we don't have the same terminology, if we don't have a same common ground, it's really hard to really develop a conversation afterwards. So basically, 643 is this frame that allows all these parts have the same terminology, conversation, and basically advance on the conversation. So we develop our products based on 643. That means that all the recommendations that the standard brings, basically we deploy in our next generation product. So we have certified a lot of products that basically reflects all the recommendations made by the standard. And if we see like a typical network like we're seeing here, I will give a lot of tips. But again, I do understand some limitations sometimes. So if you cannot deploy all of these recommendations, I'm open to discuss with you and see how we can support. Maybe you can create a plan to make it like in phase. But in general, the first thing that you should be looking at is the security, the edge device. So are hardening, how you're doing that, which type of capabilities, security capabilities your edge device have, and how you are managing enable those, right? So this is the first tip and highlight that I would like to do. The second one is how you are segmenting. Another way to call segmentation basically is defacing that. This is also a 643 concept, but definitely the definition and the discussion around defacing that is much older than 643, absolutely. But definitely the concept itself, it's really important. So how you are minimizing the broadcast and other, let's say, performance aspects of a network, and including security, how you make sure you are isolating in case, like you saw at the beginning with the news, how you're making sure if you have an issue, despite of the reason, the root cause of that, how you are ensuring that these issue will not spread out in your network and crash all your products. So this is around segmentation and one of the solutions eventually, and how you're gonna make possible small parts being dependent. So definitely good discussion around security and also network performance. Monitoring. Like I said, monitoring visibility is key. So are you checking? Basically, the most common way is north-south. That is basically bottom-up checking. Usually, we have a firewall doing that. But if you're not aware, be aware that there are a lot of threats that definitely explore the lack of monitoring on these what we call west-west traffic. That is basically the horizontal exchange information. So if you are not considering visibility on these, let's say, under firewall points, definitely you are with a big risk in exposure for many other threats. So definitely I will give more information around that. And probably the timing is like extremely important, right? So supply chain risks. We have been seeing in the past years a few examples. So on the industrial side, we do have a way to minimize the supply chain risk. And one of them is another certification from 643, that is the -4-1, that basically implies that the supplier, in that case Moxa, we have all the process in place to provide secure by design products, to provide response if you find vulnerability, and basically to maintain and retire products. So the whole life cycle of the product should be solid, and you have mature process to be certified. So basically, if you have the certification, it means that you are taking care about different aspects and minimize the risks as a supplier to your end customer. So for information, Moxa, we are certified and we are taking care about these different, let's say, aspects as a supplier in terms of security. All right, so as a summary for that part, absolutely, we talk about Purdue model. And basically, you have different layers, high-level layers, and that device network and management, right? And to put in an image, absolutely Moxa, one of the beauty of our company is we have a really broad portfolio and different capabilities, technologies, and capabilities. So what does it mean is basically we don't need to recommend just the technology that we have, because we have a lot of them. So we are able to recommend the best technology and solution to your application, right? Based in your application. All right, so jumping for II cybersecurity adoption, one of the few real examples that I can share. The first one is what we call virtual patch. So it's really common, you'll be running old operational systems, Windows XP, and so on. And patching is basically a security correction for a risky or a vulnerability, right? So some OSs like XP that I mentioned is not anymore supported by Microsoft. So If you are using, you cannot patch, basically you are with these risks open. So virtual patching is a technology that we have where based in one device that you can put in line, all the intelligence on this device will track the information. And if somebody's trying to explore these specific vulnerabilities behind this device, it will block it and definitely alert the management. So basically, it's a way to extend the life of the legacy device that we know that we cannot just retrofit overnight all the technology for newer. Sometimes you need to keep it going because the system is still good, it's still running. So just one possibility to use the intelligence, basically, to support your goals is definitely using virtual patching. During the time, I will go a little bit faster, but basically, you're going to see different type of deployment scenarios for next generation firewalls and monitoring in general, right? The most common is this one, where you have one single point, basically monitoring all the network in the bottom, but you have a lot of risk on that, right? Because you're not seeing a couple of traffic if just you have this HMI or this PLC compromised, you will not see it until the traffic pass the device. So this is why you have more points are definitely more reasonable and secure. And we are in the point now there doing the advancements. I'm pretty sure that now we have like a good balance between business, in other words, budget and technology. So Moxa, we are best in class in this edge security with a very good price point. So that means that we definitely can think in a strategy that you have a lot of monitoring points and protection and a reasonable footage that can allow it definitely moving forward. Just to frame that, let's say in another way to see it, if you have just one point managing all the data, you need a very powerful hardware, and it's gonna translate in cost, right, as well. But you're limited to the points that are basically sending data and the limitation of this one single box. On the other hand, extremely right. You have different points collecting data, transmitting, basically making a distribution of this processing. So basically what we see here is you can minimize the hardware, you can minimize the price point of this edge monitor. So you increase your coverage and visibility, but at some point, as you are minimizing or decreasing your processing demand, you also can have a very good price point for this single box. So this is why I said depends on what you're trying to achieve, but for visibility perspective and protection, definitely more points definitely means more security. I will not go over, but just share with you guys the CISA, that is the Cybersecurity Incident, basically Department of Homeland Security in US. We are receiving several recommendations around a framework and how to proceed with cybersecurity. But definitely, I would like to highlight about response. So more than just monitoring, we should be able to respond to the threat as quickly as possible, right? So eventually, I have been studying and deploying a few cases where we have a really solid case, our playbook, where you can deploy automatic response for that case. So definitely is one of the applications of artificial intelligence when you have a well-defined scenario and we would know and well-tested, you can deploy in this specific case some automatic response. But definitely you should be aware that is not for all the cases, but definitely we see a lot of applications that we can deploy that. Echoing the concept, like I said, in terms of best in class in security, we have different price points, and like in switches, you may have different needs in terms of security, right? So basically, on these needs, we can design and recommend and a different price point, different security capabilities. But the point is, you should not avoid the investments around security just because pricing. So we should be discussing around what is the right price and security needs that you have. So definitely this is the conversation instead around I can't do security because definitely it's really risky. We not really deploy any type of security in industrial systems. Going so for the last part and bringing basically the key takeaways of this 1 hour conversation. If we can put together all these blocks that I over, I would call basically peace of mind, right? All this knowledge that around security and also industrial space, specifically inside the industrial space, and basically all the portfolio that we have. Absolutely, we can help you in your applications and definitely in your future challenges. Absolutely, we understand those because we are definitely working with different customers in different verticals, and this is, like I said, the beauty on having these different perspectives. We can learn and definitely have a good practice around based on these different data points. Cybersecurity, I'd say, is in our DNA. If you have the chance to talk to me, or if you have the chance to talk to me in the future, you see that cybersecurity for me and for our professionals is in our every conversation. So, but a reasonable conversation, right? I do understand, like I said a couple of times, that security and investments, business, it's all connected. So definitely have the perception and the understanding what can be done with basically the budget that we have is key. So have the flexibility and a broad portfolio make a lot of easier these conversations, because we definitely can move forward in security, but in a reasonable way, right? And last but not the least, around operational efficiency. So all these initiatives, ultimately, we are trying to make more with less, right? Improve production, anticipate machine breaking, and all of that. So visibility, how you can take the best from each device, how you can make sure the configurations are properly deployed. So all of that comes in place about how, as a manufacturer, we help our customers and design the best networking, and more than that, how they are really deploying this technology, right? So basically, just to reemphasize one of the slides that I brought here, keep in mind that we are not just talking about networking. We are talking about everything, right? We do have computers. We have absolute networking. We are a really solid player in the world top 3, and absolutely management tools, security. So absolutely, we would like to welcome you to have conversations around your challenges, your new deployments, and absolutely debate about best practice around, right? I'm always looking for learning, and as much as I can, help our customers to build a most secure and reliable network as possible. So based on that, one of the last 2 questions, we definitely have a lot of technologies that we cover here in really high level. But I'd like to know if you want to have more conversations, webinars, or even a more private, right, discussion around any specific technology, please. I will not disclose basically the results here, so it'll be private. Send basically the idea of the technology that you want to have more information, and let us know, right, if you're ready for a conversation and a brainstorm around the best practices around each of these technology. Just clear, we have different experts according to the area, right? I'm part of the group of cybersecurity, artificial intelligence, and networking. But if you have other topics, we have a lot of other experts to support you. So definitely, we welcome you to send your challenge so we can work with you. All right. I believe I just give you guys a couple of last seconds to close here. I appreciate that. Awesome. So I would like to move for a summary. Basically, let's see here. Perfect. We talk about a lot of emerging technology. So I hope it's clear that they have different, let's say, goals and different outcomes, but definitely they impact the network, the way that the network behaves, how the network communicates, and the complexity itself. So how basically we will respond to that, how we segment, manage, and increase your visibility. So if we are doing any one or more of these initiatives, so basically how you are responding and your network is adapting to that. A lot of these initiatives are basically communication initiatives. So basically you are opening paths, right, for communication. If you're not doing properly, eventually you can be creating a vulnerability path, right? Increasing your attack surface. So definitely make sure and reach us out to make sure you are doing the best practice when creating these connectivity initiatives. About portfolio, absolutely, we do have about a really broad portfolio in terms of networking, conversion, so also gateways, serial converters, computers. So really the edge core solution to combine different technologies, wired and wireless. So definitely a lot of experts with a lot of knowledge in the industry to really support you on your challenge, right? So, but most important, all of us, we have the secure mindset in our recommendation, and at least we want you make you aware about what are the impacts with some solutions, and definitely make sure we are doing the right move. So if you need any help in one or more of these initiatives, if you want to have more conversations, a brainstorm, we are definitely open for have that conversation and welcome you to contact us, and hopefully talk to you soon, guys. Thank you so much. So this is our last pull question. It's more for internal usage. If you are running and like for free, absolutely, have a conversation, a brainstorm around your project. If you are following the best practices, if you can improve something, just answer this question, and our team will be able to get your information, and one of our experts will be able to contact you. And if it's cybersecurity, most likely I'll be the one contact you to have more conversations around your application. Let me check with our team. Did you launch the last pull question? I didn't see it coming.
Perfect. I'll get that launched right now. Thank you so much, Felipe. I know there's just so much to cover in this space, so it was all super informative. Yeah, like Felipe mentioned, answer this poll question, and we'll get you connected to an expert such as Felipe to help you out with any of your projects here. We'll keep this question up for about a minute or so, just to give some time for some questions to flow in for our Q&A session. So if you'd like to submit any questions, please use that function down below, and we'll do our best to get around to it. I do see a couple already coming in, so I think we might as well just get started real quick here. First question is, what is virtual patching?
Yeah, good question. Virtual patching actually is a concept, right? Like I explained during the presentation, one of the challenge with a legacy device is if you are using, just again, to name it, Microsoft XP that is not managed anymore by Microsoft. Basically, if you're still running without any extra countermeasure or protection, you are open for different type of risks, including cyber attacks, right? Or hackers can explore these vulnerabilities. So we have in a couple of our device, like next generation firewalls, or even a specific box that is just running virtual patching. Basically, you can put it in front, we say basically in line with this HMI or this computer that is running the XP, and all the data before reach the computer or the HMI will pass through this device that will make a very fast checking about these specific vulnerabilities. So the importance is we are not checking everything. You can make a real narrow down specific vulnerability that you want to protect, and absolutely it allows the information pass through it. And if there is a threat trying to explore, it's you're going to be blocked and drop it in alarm to the security system. So basically, is a way to extend the life of the device, the legacy device.
Thanks, Philippe. Another question here is, what measures does Moxa take to comply with the latest industrial cybersecurity standards?
Yeah, definitely good question. One of the examples that I gave here, absolutely, the industrial knowledge, it's extremely important. So we need to understand the specifics and the regulations of each sector. So it's definitely one key that we have inside Moxa. The standards, so you should have like a frame to support the conversation, to make sure you are following the best practices. So as company, we are following 643, but we do understand and we do the work of comparison as needed with other frameworks. But as a company to development, definitely we use 643. And part of 643 are the audition certifications to the company and to the product side. So if needed, we can provide all these certificates that basically ensure that we are doing the good practice around the secure posture and strategy. And lastly, the training and awareness that is part of any strategy of security we do internally and to our customers and partners in a regular basis.
Awesome. Another question here, how can Moxa solutions facilitate IIoT convergence in a secure and efficient manner?
Right, good question. I would say one thing that I highlight here is the wide portfolio that we have. So it allows us not give just the recommendation that fits us, but on the other hand, give the recommendation that best fits the customer needs. So if just to name it, right? If we need to work with wireless, it's 5G, it's a wireless WLAN or any other private or open 5G. So all of that comes in place and we recommend. In terms of security, like we said, we have a broad portfolio, so definitely we can recommend based on the secure need, what it would be the next good step, right? And definitely with that, we have a good balance between business, budget, and also security mindset. And we are definitely going that direction, right? To understand the whole picture, not just recommend.
Perfect. How does Moxa's cybersecurity strategy protect industrial networks against evolving threats?
Right. That is probably a lot of ways to answer the question. But from the product-wise, absolutely, we do have the threat monitoring solutions to increase the visibility. Like I said, this is the first step. You can protect only what you see, right? So definitely this is one of the key aspects that we can support. But going beyond that, absolutely the knowledge of the networking and how it behaves. So we can recommend, for example, the fencing depth, or the best way to do that. And our partners also are knowledgeable around that. Basically, keep you in line with the updates and with the new enhancements. So in our product line, in our switches, for example, we yearly basis, we bring a new release with the new secure features where if you have our switches, you can benefit from that with no cost. So definitely you can keep increasing your secure posture sometimes without really invest more money, because these updates and security updates, I'm not talking about patching, right? Patching, it's a different timeline. It's available as soon as we find, but definitely enhancements, new features, new things to really enhance your posture, security posture, this is for free. We provide you guys in our switches in the life cycle of the equipment. So definitely just a few examples in how we can support with this industrial mindset in mind.
Perfect. Looks like we're 5 minutes over, but I'll squeeze in 2 more questions here because we just keep getting so many here. What are the benefits of using Moxa's virtual patching approach in maintaining cybersecurity across industrial devices?
Yeah, probably it's connected with the other colleague question. You extend your legacy device lifecycle. So a lot of things around vulnerability, risk assessments, and criticality of your assets, right? So if you have an important asset that it's old and you cannot really patch or protect anymore, that's a very good example where you can deploy virtual patching, because you can keep using this product and this extra layer that we call a countermeasure, because it's externally protecting this device with all the mindset. So if you want to have more information how we do that, absolutely, I'm glad to share that, because we do understand a lot of limitations of industrial space. So I want to share the big picture about how we deploy this. But ultimately, the bottom line is you'll be able to extend the life of this legacy device because you keep them protected. You keep updating basically this box, this product to the latest threats, and this box will be aware and be protecting this legacy device. So definitely you keep longer and safe your legacy device system.
Perfect. Final question, what role do Moxa's centralized management tools play in enhancing network security and operational efficiency?
Yeah, summarizing basically, good question, by the way. We have the visibility, right? So we start to see not just performance-wise how your network is behaving, but where, and like I explained during the presentation, eventually anticipated some bottlenecks. This is performance in network perspective, but more than that, looking to security perspective, you also can guarantee the same basically policies across your secure rules. So if you are dealing with different firewalls in different, let's say, sites, definitely we have to support this across these sites. You have a really solid management about the rules, so you can make sure you are not configuring any of these sites. So you can have this mass deployment, if you will, way to make sure you are on the same level of security in your site. So definitely just a few examples, but definitely would be glad to discuss with the person that sent this question and how we can increase your visibility and security with our tools.
Perfect. All right, everybody. Thank you all for joining today's webinar. We'll be sure to send out a follow-up email with a link to the recording so that you can revisit any of the topics that we covered. We'll also send out a survey that should actually appear at the conclusion of this webinar. So we would appreciate if you could give any of your feedback. But yeah, that wraps up our webinar today. Thanks to Philippe for sharing his expertise on future-proofing industrial networks. And we'd also like to thank everyone for attending and participating. We hope you found this information valuable. Have a great rest of your day.